I'm here, but I want to look at those things.
And then the movie from tengo mi compression hace como 1 año y medio, because I have to know the payroll time. Pero se lo van a hacer retire como 10 personas, y se le han hecho retire como 10 días.
That's crazy. It's not kinder. Thank you. Wait.
Me llaman, somos los que conversamos porque nadie sabe nada. Ellos van a poner el sexo. Es como los que estaban aquí, los que no saben. De los 8 años ya tengo como 15 años trabajando en eso. For me, just for now, just me and one of the partners here, I don't want to mandar a Washington.
Who is it?
Myers, are you Myers?
He's going walking?
Yeah.
Maybe the first time.
Vas a agarrar más llamadas.
Huh?
Vas a agarrar muchas llamadas. So you have to come.
Hopefully not. For the things we give it?
Algunas people, they want to mover over. And straight. Pero ese día lo movió. No, ya straight.
Maybe seems like model.
All right.
You may be seated. Good evening. This is the time set for the 5 p.m. initial appearance calendar for March 2nd, 2025. The course orders for the taking of fingerprints and DNA samples made on the 1st of this month will apply to all matters on this calendar. I am going to, I'm so sorry. So as we proceed, I'm going to be calling each of you up one by one to the podium, where you will tell me your first and last name and your date of birth. I will then advise you as to why you are here, whether or not an attorney has been appointed to you, what your upcoming court dates are, what your bond is if you do qualify for bond, and what your release conditions will be. If you have any questions while I'm advising you of these things, I would just ask that you hold your questions until I complete that advisement. So at this time, I will call Christopher Campbell to the podium, and Mr. Gutierrez, if you'll please have a seat in the chair. Hello, sir.
How you doing?
I'm good. Can you tell me your first and last name and your
My
date of
name
birth?
is Christopher Campbell.
And what's your date of birth?
2561.
Thank you. You were here today for 2 matters. You have one new case, and then you have a warrant for failing to appear for a court date.
Okay.
We're going to talk about the new case first, okay?
Okay.
So on the new case, you were charged with 1 count of possession of a narcotic drug for use, a class 4 felony, 1 count of possession of a dangerous drug for use, a class 4 felony, and 1 count of possession of drug paraphernalia. I did find probable cause as to the possession of a narcotic drug for use and the possession of drug paraphernalia. I did not find probable cause as to the dangerous drug for use. I did appoint an attorney to represent you in this matter. You have a status conference hearing on March 7th at 8:30 and a preliminary witness hearing on March 11th at 8:30. I did have to set an evidentiary hearing for you on March 10th at 1:30 because you were on felony release at the time.
I was? I didn't know that.
Well, that's why you have the warrant for failing to appear for a court date.
Yes, ma'am.
So because you were on felony release at the time that this offense occurred, you are not eligible for bond today. So on this case, and so then we're going to talk about the warrant for failing to appear for a court date. An attorney was already appointed to represent you in that matter. So you have a status conference hearing on March 7th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on March 11th at 8:30.
Okay.
That warrant had a secured appearance bond in the amount of $500, but do not attempt to pay that bond until you know whether or not you're going to be bondable on the new case. So if it turns out that you will be bondable in all of your matters, it is important that you do appear for your court date, because if you don't, then another warrant is going to get issued. Any bond that you paid will be forfeited, and and then you'll be subject to more bond. So that takes care of everything that we can do here today. If you will step to your left, the officer will give you your paperwork regarding both matters. Mr. Gutierrez, will you please come into the courtroom? And Mr. Acho, if you will please have a seat in the chair. Sir, can you please state your first and last name?
Francisco Gutierrez, 10-17-85.
You were here on a new case. You were charged with 1 count of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, a class 3 felony, 1 count of tampering with physical evidence or attempting to destroy or alter evidence, a class 6 felony, and 1 count of disobeying or resisting an order or a mandate of the court, a class 1 misdemeanor. I did find probable cause as to all 3 counts. I did appoint an attorney to represent you. You have a status conference hearing on March 7th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on March 11th at 8:30. You have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $500,000. If you are able to post bond, you will be released to pretrial services with an electronic monitoring. You cannot return to the scene of the alleged crime. You cannot initiate any contact with the alleged victim. You cannot possess any weapons. If you are able to post bond and you fail to comply with these release conditions or appear for your court date, any bond posted will be forfeited. Another warrant would be issued for your arrest, and you'd be subject to additional bond. So that takes care of everything that we can do here this evening.
So my bail's at $500,000 right now?
$500,000 secured appearance.
Okay. And if I get released, just a question, if I'm out of state, do I still get the monitor?
You cannot be out of state. You cannot leave the state of Arizona.
Okay.
So that takes care of everything. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Acho, will you please come into the courtroom? And Mr. Herrera, if you'll please have a seat in the chair. Hello, can you state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Marion Aco, 0409-2004.
Thank you. You are here on a new case. You were charged with 1 count of aggravated assault in violation of an order of protection, a class 4 felony, 1 count of robbery, a class 4 felony, 1 count of aggravated assault, a class 5 felony, 1 count of resisting arrest, a class 6 felony, and 1 count of disobeying or resisting an order or a mandate of the court, a class 1 misdemeanor. I did find probable cause as to all of the counts. I did appoint an attorney to represent you. You will have a status conference hearing on March 7th at 8:30. You will have a preliminary hearing on March 11th at 8:30. You do have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $25,000. If you are able to post bond, you'll be released to pretrial services, which will include electronic monitoring. If you are able to post bond, the other release conditions are that you cannot return to the scene of the alleged crime, you cannot initiate any contact with the alleged victims, you cannot possess any weapons. You will have to comply with any orders of protection or orders against harassment. You cannot contact the victim for any reason. If you violate that order of protection, and if you violate the no victim contact order in this case, you could be charged with aggravated harassment, which is a Class 6 felony. So failure to comply with your release conditions or to appear for your court dates could result in any bond posted being forfeited, a warrant being issued for your arrest, and additional bond being ordered. So that takes care of everything that we can do here today. Just step to the left, the officer will give you your paperwork.
Wait.
I'm allowed to ask a question.
Okay, but you ask it from the podium.
For like pre-trial services, I don't have to pay bond if they let me free?
No, there's a bond first. If you're able to post bond, then you will be released to pretrial services.
Okay.
Okay?
And you said 25,000?
$25,000 secured appearance. Mr. Herrera, if you'll please come into the courtroom, and Mr. Den, if you will have a seat in the chair. Well, sir, can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Arturo Heredia, July 5th, 1991.
You are here on a new case. You were charged with 1 count of aggravated assault with serious injury, a Class 3 felony, 1 count of criminal damage, a Class 6 felony, 1 count of disorderly conduct involving fighting, a Class 1 misdemeanor, 1 count of assault with intent to injure, a Class 1 misdemeanor, 1 count of disorderly conduct, a Class 1 misdemeanor, and 1 count of criminal damage, a Class 1 misdemeanor. I did find probable cause as to all of those counts. I did appoint an attorney to represent you. You will have a status conference hearing on March 7th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on March 11th at 8:30. You have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $50,000. If you are able to post bond, you'll be released to pretrial services with electronic monitoring. You cannot return to the scene of the alleged crime. You cannot initiate any contact with the alleged victim or victims. You cannot possess any weapons. If there are any orders of protection or orders against harassment, you must obey the terms of those orders. You cannot reside with the victim, even if you are the owner or renter of the residence. You are permitted when civil standby with law enforcement to assist you in retrieving your essential belongings. Please be advised that if you violate the no victim contact order in this case, you could be charged with aggravated harassment, which is a Class 6 felony. Failure to comply with your release conditions or appear for your court dates would result in the forfeiture of the bond that you posted, a warrant being issued for your arrest, and additional bond being imposed. So that takes care of everything that we can do here today. If you will step to your left, the officer will give you your paperwork. Mr. Den, will you please come into the courtroom, and Ms. Vega and if you'll please have a seat in the chair. So, sir, can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Larry Den, 2/10/95.
You are here on a new case. You were charged with 1 count of possession of dangerous drugs for sale, a Class 2 felony, and 1 count of possession of a narcotic drugs for sale, a Class 2 felony. I did find probable cause as to both counts. I did appoint an attorney to represent you. You will have a status conference hearing on March 7th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on March 11th at 8:30. You have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $30,000. If you are able to post bond, you need to comply with your release conditions as well as appear for your court date. If you fail to comply with your release conditions or appear for your court date, any bond posted would be forfeited, a warrant would be issued for your arrest, and additional bond would be imposed. So that takes care of everything that we can do here this evening.
Okay, I have a question. I was never in possession of no drugs.
So that is a legal argument that you would make with your attorney when you get to your next hearing. That's not, today, probable cause means that I look at the information and I have to make a determination as to whether or not the information is more likely to be true than not. And today I made the finding that the information that I reviewed is more likely to be true than not.
Okay.
So if you will step to the left, the officer will give you your paperwork. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Feganayak, if you will please come into the courtroom, and Mr. Tasay, if you will have a seat in the chair. So, ma'am, will you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Melissa Steganiak, 9/24/83.
You are here today on a new case. You were charged with 1 count of theft of means of transportation, a Class 3 felony. I did find probable cause as to that count. I did appoint an attorney to represent you. You will have a status conference hearing on March 7th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on March 11th at 8:30. You have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $7,500. If you are able to post bond, you cannot return to the scene of the alleged crime. You cannot initiate any contact with the alleged victims. Failure to comply with your release conditions or to appear for your court date will result in any bond posted being forfeited, a warrant being issued for your arrest, and additional bond being imposed. So that takes care of everything that we can do here this evening.
One quick question. Can you tell me what the 7,500 secure bond is? Like, what? How is it? Cash or
7,500 secured appearance is 10% plus collateral.
so 7,500 collateral?
That's 7,500. You asked me what did I mean, and I'm telling you it's secured appearance. Secured appearance means 10% of that plus collateral.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Sure. Mr. Tisay, if you will please come into the courtroom, and Mr. Weisenbach, if you'll please have a seat in the chair. Hello, sir. Can you state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Chad Tisay, 12/14/87.
So you are here for multiple matters. You have one violation of probation. You have a warrant out of Navajo County, and then you have a warrant out of Surprise Municipal Court. So I'm going to first talk about your violation of probation. I did appoint an attorney to represent you in that matter. You do have a probation revocation possible disposition hearing on March 10th at 8:30. That violation of probation warrant had a secured appearance bond in the amount of $1,800. Then, as to your warrant out of Navajo County, I did appoint an attorney to represent you in that matter. You will have an arraignment hearing on March 5th at 8:30. That warrant had a secured appearance bond in the amount of $1,000. And then, as to your Surprise Municipal Court warrant, I did appoint an attorney for you in that matter. You do have an arraignment hearing on March 11th at 1:30. I gave you a secured appearance bond in the amount of $50. It's just a placeholder bond because you have bonds in your other matters. It's just to make sure that you get transported to that hearing as well. So your total secured appearance bond between all of the cases is $2,850. If you are able to post bond, you do need to make sure you attend all your court matters. If you fail to do so, any bond that you posted will be forfeited. Another warrant will be issued for your arrest, and additional bond would be imposed. So that takes care of everything that we can do here today. If you will step to your left, the officer will give you your paperwork. Thank you. Mr. Weisenbach, if you will please come into the courtroom, and Mr. Hobbs, if you will please have a seat in the chair. Hello, Mr. Weisenbach, can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Steve Weisenbach, March 10th, 1962.
Thank you. You are here today because you have 3 warrants for failing to appear for your court dates. An attorney was already appointed to represent you in all 3 matters, so I'm just going to go one by one. On your first matter, you will have a non-witness hearing on March 10th at 8:30. That has a cash-only appearance bond in the amount of $100. Then in your second matter, you have a status conference hearing on March 10th at 8:30, and you have a cash-only bond in the amount of $2,500. And then as to your third matter, you have a non-witness hearing on March 10th at 8:30, and you have a cash-only bond in the amount of $100. So between your 3 cases, you have a total of $2,700 cash for your bond. If you are able to post bond, you must appear for all of your hearings. If you fail to do so, you will forfeit the bond that you have posted. A warrant will be issued for your arrest, and you would be subject to additional bond. So that takes care of everything that we have to do here today. Thank you. Did you have a question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so They took my money when I was arrested.
Okay, I'm not sure how to sort all of that out, or if you have to contact somebody to come and help you with that. I can't do anything about that. Like what the processing or the intake procedures are, that's with the sheriff's office.
Okay.
It's just the only thing that I have authority over is
Okay.
to tell you what the orders are.
Okay.
Okay?
So now I just go back out there.
Yeah, come on over. So you guys have to make sure I'm on them.
Mr. Hobbs, will you please come into the courtroom? And Mr. Hernandez, will you please have a seat in the chair?
Hi,
Hello, can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Kevin Hobbs.
Oh, I'm not swearing you in. I'm just asking you to state your first and last name and your date of birth.
Yeah, the first time in here. So,
That's okay.
yeah, Kevin Hobbs, 5th January 2004.
Okay, thank you. You are here on a new case. You were charged with 1 count of disorderly conduct involving a weapon or dangerous instrument, a Class 6 felony. I did find probable cause as to that count. I did appoint an attorney to represent you. You have a status conference hearing on March 7th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on March 11th at 8:30. You do have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $2,500. If you are able to post bond, you cannot return to the scene of the alleged crime and you cannot possess any weapons. Failure to comply with release conditions or appearing for your court dates could result in the forfeiture of the bond that you did post, a warrant being issued for your arrest, and additional bond being ordered. Do you understand?
Yep.
Okay, so that's everything. If you'll step to your left, the officer will give you your papers.
I gotta go home tonight, or?
No, you have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $2,500, so you'll have to post bond. So that's 10% plus collateral of $2,500.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Thanks so much. Have a good night.
Mr. Hernandez, will you please come into the courtroom? Hello, sir. Can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Eduardo Hernandez, and date of birth is 12/26/03.
You were here on a new case where you were charged with 1 count of aggravated DUI, driving the wrong way, Class 4 felony, 1 count of aggravated DUI, 1 count of DUI involving liquor or drugs, a Class 1 misdemeanor, 1 count of extreme DUI with the BAC of 0.15 to 0.20, a Class 1 misdemeanor, 1 count of DUI with the BAC of 0.08 or more, a Class 1 misdemeanor, and 1 count of endangerment, a Class 1 misdemeanor. I did find probable cause as to all counts. I did appoint an attorney to represent you in this matter. You will have an arraignment hearing on, Jacqueline, they needed to change the court because this is a felony. It shouldn't be in justice court. I think we need to add different court dates too. Okay, we'll be with you in just a moment. We just have to fix some things. It's showing arraignment hearing and status conference. Should it be status conference and preliminary?
Status and prelim. So,
Okay,
let me print it for you.
okay. Is it just it's showing wonky on my end?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so, okay, thank you so much. Okay, so you will have a status conference hearing on March 7th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on March 11th at 8:30. You will have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $1,500. If you are able to post bond, you'll be released to pretrial services, which will involve alcohol testing and monitoring. If you fail to comply with your release conditions or appear for your court dates, any bond posted would be forfeited, a warrant would be issued for your arrest, and additional bond would be imposed. So that takes care of everything that we can do here this evening. Do you have any questions?
So 1,500?
Secured appearance, so 10% plus collateral at 1,500.
Right.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Dobbins, will you please come into the courtroom? And Mr. Kelso, if you'll please have a seat in the chair. Hello.
Hi,
Can you set your first and last name and your date of birth?
Caleb Dobbins, 12/22/2005.
Thank you. You were here on a new case. You were charged with 1 count of unlawful flight from law enforcement, a Class 5 felony, 1 count of endangerment, a Class 1 misdemeanor, 4 counts of racing or exhibition of speed, a Class 1 misdemeanor, 1 count of obstructing a highway or public thoroughfare, a Class 2 misdemeanor, 1 count of knowingly displaying a false license plate, a Class 2 misdemeanor, 1 count of reckless driving, a Class 2 misdemeanor, and 1 count of excessive speeding, a Class 3 misdemeanor. I did find probable cause as to all the counts. I did appoint an attorney to represent you. You will have a status conference hearing on March 7th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on March 11th at 8:30. You have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $2,500. If you are able to post bond, you need to make sure that you appear for your court dates. If you fail to appear, any bond posted will be forfeited. A warrant will be issued for your arrest and additional bond would be imposed. So that takes care of everything that we can do here this evening.
Okay, and then if I can get the bond by today, like tonight,
Well,
will I
when
get
you
released?
post your bond, you will be released.
That's what I'm saying, like, if I can get like my mom to do my bond tonight, or like next hour, will I get released tonight?
Yes.
All right, that was all my questions.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Mr. Kelso, will you please come into the courtroom? And Mr. Wells, will you please have a seat in the chair? Well, can you state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Stephen Kelso, 6/29/1972.
Thank you. You were here because you have a new case, and then you have a violation of probation.
I got a violation.
Well, once you picked up this new case, that's is a violation of your probation. So we're going to talk about the new case. You were charged with 1 count of possession of a weapon by a prohibited person, a Class 4 felony, 1 count of possession of a dangerous drug, a Class 4 felony, and 1 count of possession of drug paraphernalia, a Class 6 felony. I did find probable causes to all 3 counts, and I did appoint an attorney to represent you. You'll have a status conference hearing on March 7th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on March 11th at 8:30. You do have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $1,500. If you are able to post bond, just a reminder that you are a prohibited possessor, so you cannot possess any weapons, and you need to contact probation within 72 hours of your release. And then as to your violation of probation, I appointed an attorney to represent you in that matter. You do have a probation revocation possible disposition hearing on March 10th at 8:30, and you have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $500. So between your 2 cases, your secured appearance bond is $2,000. Make sure you appear for court if you're able to post bond. If you fail to appear, any bond posted would be forfeited, a warrant would be issued for your arrest, and additional bond would be imposed. So that takes care of everything that we can do here today. Thank you. Mr. Wells, if you will please come into the courtroom, and Mr. Kozel, if you will please have a seat in the chair. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Yeah, Brian, sorry, Brian Wells, 4989.
You were here today because a warrant was issued when you failed to appear for a court date. An attorney was already appointed to you in this matter. You do have a status conference hearing on March 12th at 8:30. You do have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $500. If you are able to post bond, you need to make sure that you appear for your court date. If you fail to appear, the bond that you posted will be forfeited. Another warrant will be issued for your arrest, and probably additional bond would be imposed. So that takes care of everything that we can do here this evening. Thank you. Mr. Cazell, if you'll please come into the courtroom. And Mr. Taylor, if you'll please have a seat in the chair. Sir, can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Michael Cozell, 11/02/92.
You are here today because you have one new case and then you have a warrant out of West McDowell Justice Court. On the new case, you were charged with one count of possession of a narcotic drug, Class 4 felony, and one count of possession of drug paraphernalia, a Class 6 felony. I did find probable cause as to both counts. I did appoint an attorney to represent you. You will have a status conference hearing on March 17th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on March 20th at 8:30. I am inclined to release you on your own recognizance. You do have to promise to appear for that court date. Do you promise to appear?
Yes, ma'am.
And then as to your West McDowell, that warrant, I did not appoint an attorney to you in that matter because of the nature of the charge does not entitle you to court-appointed counsel. You will have an arraignment hearing on March 18th at 1:30. Again, I'm inclined to release you on your own recognizance, but you do have to promise to appear for your court date. Do you promise to appear?
Yes, ma'am.
So please be advised that for both matters, if you fail to appear for your court dates, warrants will be issued, and you will be subject to bond. A bond will likely be imposed. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so if you'll step to your left, the officer will give you your paperwork.
Thank you.
Mr. Taylor, if you will please come into the courtroom, and Mr. Martin, if you will please have a seat in the chair. Hello, can you state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Taiwan Taylor, 9/17/90.
Thank you. You were here on the new case. You were charged with one count of driving on a suspended, revoked, or canceled driver's license, a Class 1 misdemeanor. I did find probable cause as to that offense. Due to the nature of the charge, you're not entitled to court-appointed counsel. You do have an arraignment hearing on April 1st at 1:30. I am inclined to release you on your own recognizance today. You do have to promise to appear for your court date. Do you promise to appear?
I do. You said April 1st?
Mm-hmm. If you fail to appear for your court date, a warrant will issue for your arrest, and a bond will likely be attached with that warrant. Do you understand?
Okay.
Okay, so if you'll step to your left, the officer will give you your paperwork. Mr. Martin, will you please come into the courtroom? And Ms. Matthews, will you please have a seat in the chair? Hello, sir. Can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Dominique Martin, 11/12/1996.
Thank you. You are here today because a direct complaint was filed where you were charged with one count of possession or use of narcotic drugs, a Class 4 felony, and one count of possession of drug paraphernalia, a Class 6 felony. The date of these alleged offenses is April 13th of 2024. I did appoint an attorney to represent you in this matter. You do have a status conference hearing on March 17th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on March 20th at 8:30. I am inclined to release you on your own recognizance today. You do have to promise to appear for those court dates. Do you promise to appear?
Yes, ma'am.
If you fail to appear for those court dates, a warrant will be issued for your arrest and a bond would likely be attached with the warrant. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so if you'll step to your left, the officer will give you your paperwork.
Thank you.
Ms. Matthews, will you please come into the courtroom? And Mr. Lopez, will you please have a seat in the chair? Hello.
Hi.
Can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Brandy Matthews, 6/12/83.
You are here today because a direct complaint was filed where you were charged with one count of possession of dangerous drugs, a Class 4 felony. The date of the alleged offense is May 23rd, 2024. I did appoint an attorney to represent you in this matter. You will have a status conference hearing on March 17th at 8:30 and then a preliminary hearing on March 20th at 8:30. I am going to release you on your own recognizance today, but you do have to promise to appear for your court date. Do you promise to appear?
Yes, ma'am.
If you fail to appear for your court date, a warrant will be issued for your arrest, and there will be a bond attached to that warrant. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay, so if you'll step to your left, the officer will give you your paperwork.
Thank you.
Mr. Lopez, will you please come into the courtroom?
Anthony Lopez, 12/7/1983, ma'am.
Thank you. You were here today on a new case. You were charged with 1 count of possession of a dangerous drug, a class 4 felony, and 1 count of possession of drug paraphernalia, a class 6 felony. I did find probable causes to both counts. I did appoint an attorney to represent you. You will have a status conference hearing on March 17th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on March 20th at 8:30. I am going to release you to pretrial services. You do have to promise to appear for those court dates. You promise to appear?
Yes, ma'am.
If you fail to comply with your release conditions or fail to appear for your court dates, a warrant will be issued for your arrest, and there will likely be a bond attached to that warrant. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that takes care of everything you have to do here today?
Yeah, we're good, David.
This concludes the 5 p.m. initial appearance calendar. We stand in recess until 8 p.m. From, I believe, Tennessee. You do have a right to an extradition hearing. You are entitled to bond. You do have the right to hire your own attorney. One would not be appointed to you because this is not a criminal matter. An extradition requires a warrant to be signed by both the governor in Arizona and the governor. An extradition requires a warrant to be signed by both the governor in Arizona and the governor in Tennessee. That process takes between 60 and 90 days. You can also waive your right to an extradition hearing. You would not be eligible for bond, but Tennessee would have 30 days from tomorrow to pick you up if there are no local charges pending. If there are local charges pending, the 30 days would not begin until after those local charges were resolved. So did you get the paperwork that explained your rights to you?
Yeah, this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So do you know how you would like to proceed today?
No, because I just have a question. I don't really understand it because
So do I have a bond or like?
You are entitled to bond. So if you did not want to waive your rights and you wanted to go through the extradition process, you have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $30,000, and you'd have an initial hearing on March 10th at 1:30.
So out here, so would that even like would I even get released for that, or like am I still going to be on the hold for the other thing? Like
if you were able to post bond, you would still have to stay in the state of Arizona. You would still have to come to your hearings if you are choosing not to waive the extradition process. So you would be going through the extradition process here in Arizona. So you'd have to attend all the hearings that you have. And once the warrant is signed by the governor in Arizona and the governor in Tennessee, then you would be extradited to Tennessee. And then the other option is that if you don't want to go through that process, you can waive it. But if you choose to waive it, you would not be entitled to bond. And Tennessee would be notified that you were ready to be picked up, and they'd have 30 days from tomorrow to come pick you up.
Okay, so if I do the other one, I could bond out this week, though, if I have that money?
If you have the money, you're released upon the posting of your bond whenever they schedule the releases for the day.
Oh, yeah, all right, cool. You positive I'm going to be able to get released if I could post a bond, right?
I'm the one that's issuing the order, so
okay. I just want to make sure so I don't have no confusion, but yeah, okay, that's fine.
So you are choosing not to waive your rights?
Yeah, I want to get the bond.
Okay, so you do understand that you have to stay here and you have to show up for your court date on March 10th?
I need to stay here. I got work here.
Okay, I'm just being very clear.
Yeah.
That you are subject to extradition. So even if you post bond,
yeah,
you still have to come to court and deal with your extradition process.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I just don't want to lose work, and I'd rather fight this from the outside than the inside.
Okay, so then you have an initial hearing on March 10th at 1:30. You have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $30,000.
So is that $3,000 I have to post?
$3,000 plus collateral, and that's whatever the bonding. I don't know what your collateral will be, so don't ask me. Every bonding company is different, but it's 10% plus collateral.
Wait, 10%?
That 10% of $30,000.
Oh.
Okay, so that takes care of everything that we have to do, and I believe the release order is ready for this one. No, because he's not waiving.
So I have one more question for you. So you said it's the 3,000. So is there another 3,000 on top of that, or
no?
It's just
that's
straight?
Not what I'm saying. What I'm telling you is that it's 10% plus collateral. You will need to contact a bonding company, and they will tell you what type of collateral they are looking for.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Lori Dieter, date of birth, October 21st, 1967, is unable to participate in person due to bizarre behavior. She is in for a new case where she was charged with 1 count of possession of a dangerous drug, a Class 4 felony, and 1 count of possession of drug paraphernalia, a Class 6 felony. I did find probable cause as to both counts. I did appoint an attorney to represent her. She will have a status conference hearing on March 17th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on March 20th at 8:30. She will be released on her own recognizance, and she will be advised that if she fails to appear for her court dates, a warrant would be issued for her arrest, and she would likely be subject to bond. I will meet with her, and if any changes are needed, I will do so either on the record or in writing. This concludes our 8 p.m. initial appearance calendar. We stand in recess until 11 p.m.
Come on up.
Yes, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
You hear him? We can hear you.
Okay. Ms. Dieter, can you hear me okay? Ms. Dieter, you were here today on a new case. You were charged with 1 count of possession of a dangerous drug, a class 4 felony, and 1 count of possession of drug paraphernalia, a class 6 felony. I did find probable cause. I did appoint an attorney to represent you. You will have a status conference hearing on March 17th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on March 20th at 8:30. I am inclined to release you on your own recognizance today, but you do have to promise to appear for your court dates. Do you promise to appear? Okay. If you fail to appear for your court dates, a warrant will be issued for your arrest and a bond will likely be attached with the warrant. So the officer is going to give you your paperwork that reflects everything that we just talked about. Thank you.
Yeah, you can. Yes. So yes, reach your paperwork. All right.
Thank you. Please be seated. This is the 11 p.m. calendar on March 2nd, 2025. Orders are given on the first of the month regarding the taking of DNA and fingerprints. Those orders remain in effect today. For those of you in the courtroom, what that means for you is this. Not every single one of you has to give your DNA or your fingerprints, but if you do have to do that, those orders are going to be in your paperwork. My name is Commissioner Beck. I'm here to do a few things for you today. Number one, I'm here to let you know why you're here. Number two, if you might be released. Number three, if you're going to be assigned an attorney. The vast majority of you are going to get an attorney, which leads to my number one rule. Please don't talk about the facts of your case. Everything you say you do can be used against you. Everything in the courtroom is video recorded, so please don't talk about the facts of your case unless it's with your attorney. Second thing, I'm sure you're going to have a lot of questions. Unfortunately, I'm not your legal counsel, so I can't answer legal questions for you. So please save your legal questions for your assigned attorney. Finally, you're going to be hearing lots of different dates, and some of you are going to be hearing about different release conditions. You don't have to memorize all that stuff. All that information is going to be on your paperwork. That's why it's important, though, to keep and save your paperwork and not lose it. If you end up missing a court date, or if you end up not following a court order, you could just end up back here. Here's how tonight's going to work. I'm going to call two names. First name I call is going to come in the courtroom, stand at the podium in front of me. Second name I call is going to sit on the chair next to the door, and then we're going to keep on cycling through until the calendar is finished. Could I please get Brandy Skelton to the podium? Ezekiel Romo to the chair, please. Hi, name and date of birth, please.
Brandy Skelton, 7/15/1979.
Thank you. You're here today on three separate matters, two failure to appear warrants and one Superior Court new case. Let me talk to you about your new case. You've been arrested for possession of narcotic drugs, a Class 4 felony. I have found probable cause. I'm assigning you an attorney. Your next court dates are March 10th and March 12th in the downtown Superior Court. Because it's been alleged that you committed this offense while you were out on release on your other offenses, you're going to be held non-bondable at this time. For your failure to appear warrants, I'm not assigning you new counsel. You're going to go back to your original counsel. You got the same dates, March 10th and March 12th are your next court dates. I'm affirming the bond set by original judge. It's $500 on each one, so $1,000 secured appearance bond on your other failure to appears, but please don't try to pay those bonds because you're being held non-bondable on your new case.
Okay.
Thank you. Please step to your left for your paperwork. Ezekiel Romo to the podium. Aaron Purifoy to the chair, please. Sir, name and date of birth, please.
Ezekiel Rodolfo Romo, November 1st, 2000.
Thank you. You are here on 5 separate matters, 2 grand jury warrants, 2 probation violation warrants, and 1 Superior Court, 1 Justice Court new case. Let me talk to you about your grand jury warrants. Grand jury has found probable cause to hold you as to 1 count of unlawful use of means of transportation, a Class 5 felony. This occurred back in September 21st of 2024. I am assigning you an attorney. Your next court date is going to be March 7th in the downtown Superior Court, affirming the bond set by the grand jury, $15,000 cash bond. As to your second grand jury warrant, the grand jury has found probable cause to hold you on 2 counts of aggravated DUI Class 4 felony. This happened back on July 5th of 2024. I'm assigning you counsel. Your next court date's March 7th in the downtown Superior Court, affirming the bond set by the grand jury in that case, another $15,000 cash bond. If you're able to bond out, you're not to possess any weapons, drugs, or alcohol. Most importantly, if you bond out, you have to contact your PO within 3 days. Also, you may not operate any motor vehicle. For your 2 probation violation warrants, you're getting an attorney, and your next court date's March 10th on both your probation violation warrants. Affirming the bond set by your probation violation judge, $50 secured on one and $50 secured on the other, so $100 secured appearance bond. No, I'm sorry. $50 on one, $500 on the other, so $550 secured for your 2 probation violation warrants. And then you also have a Justice Court new case. You've been arrested for assault, Class 1 misdemeanor. I have found probable cause. I'm assigning you counsel. Your next court date is March 5th. That's at the North Mesa Justice Court, setting a secured appearance bond of $50. If you're able to bond out, no contact with the victim. Not to possess any weapons, drugs, or alcohol on all your cases. If you're able to bond out, you have to contact your PO within 3 days. So let me sum that up for you. You have a $30,000 cash bond for your new felony cases, $550 secured appearance bond for your probation violations, and a $50 secured appearance bond for your Justice Court case. Don't try to pay those small bonds unless you can pay all the bonds, because then you won't get credit for time served, sir. Please step to your left for your paperwork. Aaron Purifoy to the podium. David Rubio to the chair, please. Name and date of birth, please.
Aaron Purifoy, 8/23/99.
Thank you. You're here today on a municipal court warrant. I'm assigning you an attorney. Your next court date is going to be March 12th. That's at the Goodyear City Court. I'm affirming the bond set by the judge out there. It's a $1,000 secured appearance bond. If you're able to bond out, not to return to the scene of the crime, no contact with any victim or witness, and not to possess any weapons, drugs, or alcohol. Please start to your left for your paper.
I got a question.
Sure.
So you say like bond, that mean when I go out there, I just gotta have to like pay and then I can get like out?
You have to pay to get out.
All right, so I can make that call and then have somebody like do the money.
Yeah, with a secured appearance bond, you can use a bond company, and so you pay less than $1,000, but you have to have collateral, and then they'll cover the rest.
I just do it all out there.
Yeah, when you get back to the facility, there's a list of bonding companies, so you can call a few of them, see which one gives you the best deal.
Okay.
And then,
so I can get out. I can get out of jail right now and then like pay it.
No.
So
you have to pay to get out.
So out there, I'm gonna get a number or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
All right. Thank you. Please step to your left for your paperwork.
What?
Right there. David Rubio to the podium. Deborah Simono to the chair, please. Excuse me. Hi, name and date of birth, please.
David Rubio, 11-789.
Thank you. You're here today on two matters. You have a municipal court warrant and a municipal court new case. Let me talk to you about your new case. You've been arrested for threatening and intimidating, Class 1 misdemeanor, disorderly conduct, Class 1 misdemeanor. I have found probable cause. I'm assigning you an attorney. Your next court date is going to be March 12th. That's at the Goodyear City Court. Setting a secured appearance bond of $50. Excuse me. If you're able to bond out, so at least for now, at least until March 12th, you can't go back to where you were arrested. No contact with the victim or witnesses. You're not to possess any weapons, drugs, or alcohol. You have to obey any terms or orders of protection, and I'm not sure whether this applies to you or not, but you may not live with the victim, even if you're the owner or renter of the property. You're allowed one civil standby with local law enforcement to return to the residence to collect any essential belongings, and you're cautioned that a violation of a no victim contact order can lead to a Class 6 felony. You also have a municipal court warrant. Your next court date, same, March 12th. That's at the Goodyear City Court. I'm affirming the bond set by the judge out there. It's a $100 secured appearance bond. So total, $150 secured. Same conditions of release. Do you have any questions for me?
No.
All right, thank you. Please step to your left. Deborah Simono to the podium. Crystal Robinson to the chair, please. Hi, name and date of birth.
Deborah Simono, 7/30/64.
Thank you. You're here today on a municipal court new case. You've been arrested for 2 counts of shoplifting, Class 1 misdemeanors. I have found probable cause. I'm assigning you an attorney. Your next court date is March 12th. That's at the Goodyear City Court. Setting a secured appearance bond of $100. Ma'am, if you're able to bond out, you're not to return to the scene of the crime. No contact with any victim or witness. Not to possess any weapons, drugs, or alcohol. Want to please step to your left for your paperwork. Crystal Robinson to the podium. Daryl Matheson to the chair, please. Name and date of birth, please.
Crystal J. Robinson, November 22nd of 1987.
Thank you. You're here today on a Superior Court new case. You've been arrested for 1 count of aggravated DUI, Class 4 felony, and 2 counts of misdemeanor DUI. I have found probable cause. I'm assigning you an attorney. Your next court dates are March 7th and March 11th in the Downtown Superior Court, setting a secured appearance bond of $500. If you're able to bond out, you're going to be on pretrial services release with drug and alcohol testing and monitoring. Furthermore, if you bond out, you're not to possess any weapons, drugs, or alcohol. Most importantly, if you bond out, you may not operate any motor vehicle. Why don't you please step to your left for your paperwork now.
So I can leave, like...
No, you have $500.
Huh?
You have to pay $500 to get out.
So how long I got to stay here?
Your next court date is March 7th. That's the next time that you can speak to a judge to see if they're going to change that bond.
But I have a doctor's appointment. I have health issues, and I have a doctor's appointment on Wednesday.
Ma'am, at this point, you have a $500 bond.
I do.
If you need medical, there's medical in the facilities here as well.
You can help me with my...
Daryl Matheson to the podium. Hannah Sisler to the chair, please. Name and date of birth, please.
Daryl Matheson, 3/30/1981.
Thank you. You're here today on a municipal court warrant. I'm assigning you an attorney. Your next court date is March 12th. That's at the Buckeye City Court. Affirming the bond set by the judge is a $100 secured appearance bond. Sir, if you're able to bond out, not to return to the scene of the crime, no contact with any victim or witness, not to possess any weapons, drugs, or alcohol.
Okay, the question I have is bond out. This is my first time ever getting in trouble, so.
Sure. So you're going to remain in custody unless you can pay that $100 bond.
Where do I pay the $100 bond at?
So all your property, all your stuff is in property, so you're probably going to have someone come down to pay that for you, and then you'll have to pay them back. And so, 4th Ave? Yeah, so they have to come down to the 4th Avenue jail to pay that $100 bond. And then you can get out.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. Hannah Sisler to the podium. Jose Esparza to the chair, please. Hi, name and date of birth, please.
Hannah Sisler, 11/13/97.
Thank you. You're here today on a probation violation warrant. I'm assigning you an attorney. Your next court date is going to be March 10th in the Downtown Superior Court. Affirming the bond set by your probation violation judge, it's a $100 secured appearance bond. If you're able to bond out, you're not to possess any weapons, drugs, or alcohol. Most important thing, if you bond out, you have to contact your PO within 3 days.
Okay.
Thank you. Please step to your left. Jose Esparza to the podium. Keith Keller to the chair, please. Hi, name and date of birth, please.
Jose Esparza, 12/25/1994.
Thank you. You're here today on a justice court warrant. I'm assigning you an attorney. Your next court date is going to be March 5th. That's at the North Mesa Justice Court. Affirming the bond set by the judge is a $50 secured appearance bond. If you're able to bond out, not to possess any weapons, drugs, or alcohol. Why don't you step to your left for your paperwork, sir?
Do I bond out here, or I like to pay to get out? Sorry.
Yeah. So I imagine your money and your credit cards, they're going to be in property. So
yeah, they're in the bag.
Yeah, which you don't get access to that, unfortunately. So you're going to have to call someone to pay that $50 for you, and then you'll have to pay them back.
That's the other issue. I don't know any contacts offhand, and everything's in my phone.
Yes. So yeah, I don't know what to say about that, sir. But at this point, it's only $50 to get out. But
I know I could pay. I have it. It's just I don't have any way of calling somebody if you know.
I know, but then there's also they're not going to give you your property back until you're released, and so that's the situation. That's the unfortunate situation right now. All right, thank you, sir. Keith Keller to the podium. Cameron Finley to the chair, please. Sir, name and date of birth, please.
Keith Keller, January 23rd, 1981.
Thank you. You're here today in Justice Court, new case. You've been arrested for driving on a suspended license, Class 1 misdemeanor. Sir, I'm not assigning you counsel because for these types of charges, you don't get a free attorney, but you can hire one if you want to. Do you understand that?
I understand.
All right. Upon your promise to, next court date is March 18th. That's at the University Lakes Justice Court. Upon your promise to appear, I'm going to be releasing you today. Before I release you, though, sir, are you in on any other charges that you know of?
I had a warrant, but I got a bond.
Okay, so you already took care of that one?
Paid it, yep.
Okay, so sir, I'm going to be releasing you on your own recognizance. There's some conditions you got to follow. Not to possess any weapons, drugs, or alcohol, and you cannot drive without a valid license. Do you understand these conditions?
Understood.
And do you promise to follow these conditions?
Yes, sir.
And to promise to appear on March 18th at the University Lakes Justice Court?
Absolutely, sir.
Upon the promise to appear, I'll be releasing you on your own recognizance today. Why don't you step to your left for your paperwork?
Thank you.
And Cameron Finley to the podium, please. Sir, can I please get your name and date of birth?
Yeah, Cameron Finley, 3/16/1983.
Thank you. You're here today on a fugitive of justice warrant, also known as an extradition warrant. State of Kentucky, I believe, would like you back. And so at this point, right now, I'm going to let you know that there's an extradition hearing set for you. That's on March 17th in the Downtown Superior Court. And the warrant currently is asking that you be held, that you're going to be held non-bondable. Again, this is out of Henderson County, Kentucky. So, sir, first question I got for you is, do you have anything else going on in the state of Arizona court-wise?
No, nothing.
Okay. So, did you have a chance to read that big white card?
Yeah, I read it.
Okay. And did you have a general sense, did you understand what was on it, or do you need further explanation?
No, I understand what's on it. What's just saying that it says I get the right for bail. It says you have right to bail with these proceedings awaiting while the insurance governor issues a warrant for me.
Yeah, that depends on what the warrant says, and in this case, because it's a probation violation out of the state of Kentucky, they're asking you to be held non-bondable, and we're going to honor that non-bondable status.
Okay.
So let me explain to you your options today.
Yeah.
So first, let me sum up for you what's on that big white card. You got 3 major rights that are posted on that card. Number 1, you have a right to a hearing. I told you about that hearing. It's set for March 17th.
Yes.
Number 2, you have a right to hire your own attorney. You don't get a free one because this is a civil matter.
Yes.
If you choose to have a hearing, there's always a public defender who's sitting there that can answer basic questions for you.
Yes.
But they're not your personal attorney. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. Third right is if you have the right for the governor of Arizona and the governor of Kentucky to both sign warrants to have you extradited out of here, and that whole process takes 60 to 90 days after your extradition hearing. So that's kind of that encapsulates the 3 rights.
So they're really coming to get me out here on a petty theft charge?
So that's the thing. So that's number 1. That's option number 1 if you choose to have your hearing. Option number 2 is this: if you choose to waive your hearing, you'll be held non-bondable, which is what you're at already.
Yeah.
You'll have a check-in on March 17th. You won't have a hearing because you waived the hearing, but you have a check-in on March 17th just to see where you're at in the process. And if you choose to waive your hearing, Kentucky will have 30 days to come get you after that hearing. If they don't come and get you within those 30 days, you are released. And so those are the 2 options you got.
So they don't come get me in 30 days after March 17th?
Then you will be released. That's if you choose to waive extradition. And then if you choose to have your hearing, it'll take 60 to 90 days, assuming you lose your hearing. They'll have Kentucky, the whole process will take 60 to 90 days for Kentucky to get you.
So if I sign it right now, then they'll just come and get me?
If you waive your hearing,
yeah,
it'll be 30 days after March 17th. And if they don't come and get you, then you are released.
I'll just sign it.
Okay. All right. I got to go through a few questions with you, and then before you sign something. All right, sir. So number 1, did you have an opportunity to read that big white card?
Yes.
Did you hear me explain to you about your right to a hearing?
Yes.
Did you hear me explain to you your right to hire your own attorney?
Yes.
Did you hear me explain to you the right to have the governors of 2 states sign warrants to have you shipped out of here, and that whole process takes 60 to 90 days?
Yes, sir.
And, sir, are you willing to give up those 3 rights that I mentioned for you on the record?
Yes.
All right. Sir, did anyone force you, threaten you, or coerce you into giving up those 3 rights?
No.
And, sir, have you taken any drugs, alcohol, or medication that's affecting your decision-making process today in wanting to give up your extradition?
No.
And have you not taken any medication that you're supposed to take that's affecting your decision-making today in waiving your right to an extradition hearing?
No, I have not.
Okay. At this time, then, I am finding that you're knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently waiving your right to extradition hearing. You'll be held non-bondable, but you're being held non-bondable anyway before. And you'll have a check-in on March 17th, and upon that check-in, after 30 days, if the state of Kentucky does not come and get you, you should be released.
Okay, so I've been picked up on these charges already in Idaho. They released me. They kicked me out because, see, I was on probation in Indiana.
Gotcha.
But I was transferred to Kentucky. Well, I've been out here for over a year and a half. So now all of a sudden Kentucky just puts these on me. And could they come back and just be like, oh no, we don't want him? You know what I mean? Or what could happen there?
I can't read.
Because I've been released these charges like 3 times now.
Yeah,
Las
no,
Vegas, Idaho, and Utah.
Sir, I get it. Unfortunately, I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know what's going to happen here in Arizona. Who knows? This could be the one time you're picked up on it, and
they come get my ass.
No, I get it. Either they get you, or even if they maybe they don't, and I don't know. But hopefully.
But can they call like they did last time in Idaho? Like, hey, we don't want him. Go ahead and release him. Kentucky.
Oh, Kentucky?
Yeah.
That's up to Kentucky. I don't. Yeah.
But they did not. They called. They're like, no, we don't want him. I was like, they're in jail for 2 days.
Gotcha.
Like, we don't want him.
They might, but they haven't done it so far. And on the warrant it says that they will come and get you. So
the other warrant said the same thing. They said we come get him no matter what. And then Indiana called. They're like, where's he at? Oh, he's in Idaho? No, we ain't coming out there.
Gotcha.
And that one's more felonies worse than this. What they're going on there.
I get it, sir. I got no clue, unfortunately. So unfortunately, you just kind of go through the process to see what happens.
Okay.
If you want to please leave the card there and step up here, please.
Yep.
And then there's some stuff you have to sign.
Two signatures, I'll let let you know when, try to,
Victor Navarrete, I'll have to visit him back in his cell. He poses a risk of harm to himself or to others. Victor Navarrete, date of birth 10/20/1987, is here on a Superior Court new case on a failure to appear warrant. As to his Superior Court new case, he's been arrested for criminal trespass, a Class 6 felony, criminal damage, a Class 6 felony. I have found probable cause. I'm assigning counsel. His next court dates are March 7th, March 10th, and March 11th in the Downtown Superior Court, holding him non-bondable as he committed this, alleged to have committed this offense while on release for the other offense. As to his failure to appear warrant, I'm not assigning new counsel. He'll be going back to his original counsel. Next court dates are March 7th and March 11th in the Downtown Superior Court, affirming the bond set by the judge, $500 secured appearance bond. After visiting Mr. Navarrete back at his cell, if I'm to make any changes to these release conditions, I will come back on the record to make those changes.
Yeah.
And this concludes the 11 p.m. calendar.